So today I thought that I would share some of my own ideas and thoughts on the transitional period of autumn and how that ties in to the conversation of death and collections of what I like to call is nature's graveyard soils. Going to any river in autumn will provide the viewer with a wealth of information about death. Looking down into the water, one will find leaves, grass, algae, and various particles of dead woods, branches, and other things. They decompose into a film that covers the rocks and riverbeds in a preparation for cold months to come, and this allows the insects, fish, and other inhabitants of the river and the woodland to survive for the winter months. Collecting autumn river water will show a host of numerous particles to the point that the water is unusable for many needs in witchcraft. And there's a lesson to humans of how to respect nature when we look at waters like this. A respect to recognize the world around us beyond, say, our own needs. So walking along woodland paths we know so well, we're able to enjoy and observe the changes of the seasons, while we can also come to honor the cycle of life. The living trees, which blossomed with a canopy of leaves in the spring, which provided a means of survival and also to pollinate for the next generation, now are turning inward. Their energy is going deeper beneath our feet. All manner of living plants are connecting and sharing with generational and newly formed root systems, and the trees give up their canopy of leaves. They give up the damaged limbs of wood, and all of this goes to the woodland floor, which maintains a wealth of nutrients and future organisms which are found in moss soils and a deeply important underbrush for the woods. So as nature begins this transition, it speaks to us in its actions, giving us direction in how it is time for humans to bring in the harvest of their own lives, to prepare for what is to come and the transitional changes that are before us. Many communities were focused on holidays and other various traditions that differ region by region and culture to culture. And spiritual folk and witches, either solo or by groups, will connect with the seasons in various ways, generally in ways that have spoken to them how to do it by the previous months and the works that are needed to be done. Here is why the soil and the sand of a river can be key elements for a witch and for other spiritual folk. Here it all comes together. If we just spend the time to take it all in and to welcome the lessons that the woods are going to give us. Rivers and sands are in themselves decomposing nature. So it's a graveyard of a different type. For example, in this handful are bits of shell from living creatures that were in the water. There are all kinds of dead particles of the woods and generations of plants and animals that is in this handful. The soil and the sand speaks to the history of this space and this place. And the deeper I dig, the older this story goes. So let me take a few minutes and do a mock ritual to show you the steps and the motions that I go through when I generally come here to collect river water or even river sand. So everything needed is already here except for the jar that I'm going to do the collection in. Now through focused thought, I'm going to translate a language of emotion into this wood, into the communication of what it is that I'm seeking to do. So this piece of bark, which has just revealed itself under the sands, a witch can choose to bring this home dry and powder for use in magic as a means to connect with the spirits of this wood, though one needs to ask themselves who needs this bark more, the woodland or the witch, remembering the woodland is a perfect, balanced ecosystem. So I always like to remind myself to collect with care. Okay, back to the circle. So I'm going to gently clear away bits and pieces as I set my attention to the sand with my touch. Then using the wand, I'll draw and create a magic circle around me, moving in the direction of the sun, so east-west. The direction is about bringing things into focus, allowing my magical workings to be seen and understood. Then in the eastern direction, I will connect with the passion of my workings. I am connecting to the fire of light when I am doing this. So Now, in a real circle that I was to draw, I would right now speak aloud to the woods, my intentions. I would allow myself to be heard, to witness my actions, providing very clear and direct cause for what it is that I'm doing. And in this moment, if I feel like a headache, if my stomach feels ill, I will stop and I will not collect anything. I'll just simply sit here within my circle, and instead of taking, I will share with the woodland. Understanding that I'm deeply connected with this woodland, and maybe now is not the time for me to take anything. Maybe now is the time for me to just give some appreciation, some honor, some language of joy that this woodland is here for me, and I'll allow that to be the ceremony or the ritual that I am giving right now. If all goes well, though, I will collect a handful, only one handful, which should last a witch a good year or more if it's used respectfully. And then I will close the circle, moving west to east, acknowledging the completion, and there is nothing more to be seen here. The second movement around is going to be me closing my witchery energy. Close the circle of my workings, close the signature of an imprint of energy, and then finally I am going to sweep across the circle, returning it to the state of the woods, returning it to how I found it. So just to kind of close this video, I caught sight of this over here, and I wanted to admire basically death for a moment. Here is some more old wood that has given itself to time, and it will eventually become part of the story of the sand here. Right now it's a host and home to any kind of critters and bugs, and it's allowing itself to just become part of the story. Just as these leaves will become transformed and eventually part of the sand or probably the riverbed. So there's just this ongoing story in every single woodland space around the world, an ever-growing novel of the story of the earth. Going to these places, it doesn't take a lot to be able to read that story, to see if we've cared for it or if we've abused it, to see how the human interaction, the animals that are here, the birds that are here, being able to come to this place and read that story just by observing it and spending time here. So thanks for spending a few moments of your time with me, and hopefully you're having a beautiful day or night wherever you are, and happy witching.